This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore.
I want to thank Sheath Underwear for sponsoring a portion of today's video. If you want to help support the channel, stick around to the end to hear a very special offer from them. Let's talk about Donald Trump and how unwell he is. Over the last few weeks, couple of weeks at least, there's been all this diaper Don and Donald Trump smells. And I've even gotten many emails like, why are you not talking about this? And I haven't talked about it because I don't think it's true. I think it's just politics, but I don't think it matters. I don't think it's going to move the needle for anybody. Like, oh, I was all aboard the Trump train and then I heard he might smell like poop. And I'm not going to vote for him now. That's just not going to happen. And I would like to spend my time more constructively moving the needle. If that's your thing, you want to talk about it, make fun of him, great. I'm all for that. I'm all about the invectives and the name calling. But I also want to move that needle. Change hearts and minds. So the thing that I do think is concerning is that I believe we are witnessing in real time the cognitive decline of Donald Trump. The ability to communicate has diminished. The manner with which he carries himself physically has diminished. He's not the same Donald Trump he was in 2015 when he came down the escalator. He's certainly not the same Donald Trump as he was in 2020. All you have to do is go back to footage to see what it was like back then. And nearly 10 years ago now. It's crazy, right? 10 years ago, Donald Trump came 9 years ago, came down the escalator. And we witnessed this in many, many different aspects across several platforms. And every single time there's a camera on him and a microphone. And yesterday he was in Portsmouth, New Hampshire in preparation of the New Hampshire primary. And he starts rambling about, he rambles about crime and all this other stuff all the time. But he goes on this free association diatribe where he's talking about crime here in my hometown, not my hometown, but where I live now, of Washington, D.C., rambling about homeless people, and we're going to remove them. They have slums. We're going to get rid of the slums, like over and over, repeating himself over and over and over, claiming that there's homeless people sleeping in tents under the Washington Monument. I can tell you, being a resident of the city of Washington, that is untrue. So it's either a lie, which very well could be the case because it's Donald Trump, or he really believes that, in which case that's a problem. And then he goes into how they're going to clean up D.C., and you will never guess the genius, brilliant plan that Donald Trump is going to bring to fruition that no one has ever thought of to make it happen. Watch this, and then we'll talk more about his cognitive decline.
The asphalt hasn't been repaved for many years, and you're riding into the United States of America, and you're seeing, and they have slums. They have slums. We have to take out the slums. We're going to take out the slums. We're going to treat people nicely, but we have to take out the slums. We can't let homeless stay in the middle of our magnificent parks under the Washington Monument and other places. We're going to clean up Washington, D.C., and we're going to make it a crime-free zone. There's not going to be any crime. We're going to have laws, but we're going to have to take it over. We're going to federalize it. We're going to take it over. We're going to run it, and we're going to run it properly. We're going to run it very, very strongly, and there's not going to be people shot. People come in from your state. They want to go see Washington, so they come in from New Hampshire. They walk down the road. They end up getting shot, and it's a very dangerous place right now. We're going to take it back, and we're going to get rid of the crime, and we're going to fix it up, clean it up, and we're going to make it the most beautiful capital in the world and the safest capital in the world. We're going to do it very quickly, too.
Did you catch all that? They have slums. They have slums. We have to take out the slums. We're going to take out the slums. We have to take out the slums. How many times is he going to repeat the phrase about the slums? Again, there are no homeless people sleeping under the Washington Monument at all. Is there a homeless population crisis in the United States across the board? Yes. It is a policy failure. Poverty is a policy choice. I don't talk about it as much as I should. If you're interested in that topic, I would highly recommend you subscribe to Brittany Page's channel. There'll be a link below. She covers this at length about research and data-driven solutions to these problems. But that's not necessarily the problem here. It's the fact that Donald Trump thinks that a crime-free zone is revolutionary, that's a solution to the problem. We also have bank robber-free zones, but banks still get robbed, Donald Trump. You're going to make a crime-free zone? The world is a crime-free zone. Crime is already illegal everywhere, dipshit. There's another portion. There were several moments of this speech that were problematic, to say the least. But what really is alarming is when he goes on in an attempt to convince the audience of his mental fitness, of his cognitive stability. And he describes a test he took back in the day. Remember, man, woman, camera, whatever the words were? Well, in this one, he talks about a whale. You have to identify a whale, and then it gets way more difficult. And then he lies about what the test actually is for, but also how it's conducted. And I don't know if it's just as a matter to convince the audience or if he really misremembers the test, which in and of itself is a problem, having just had the test conducted. Watch this moment.
But I said, well, I'm good at tests, so what's the story? He said, well, the problem is, people will find out, and if you do badly, it's not a particularly good thing. You don't want to have some guy get like a disaster. I said, well, is that a hard test? It can be hard. I said, look, I got to take it because I got to shut it up. And I took it, and I aced it. I think it was 30 questions. And let me tell you, they always show you the first one, like a giraffe, a tiger, or this, or that, a whale. Which one is the whale? Okay, and that goes on for 3 or 4, and then it gets harder and harder and harder, and then it's multiplied 3,293 times 4, divide by 3. They have plenty of tough stuff. But those last 15, 20 questions.
Well, I hold in my hand the Montreal Cognitive Assessment, the MoCA, it's called. I've never conducted this on anybody. I'm not a licensed mental health provider. But I can tell you this, it doesn't anywhere on here have math in the manner that he said. Multiply 3,293 times 4, divide by 3. It's not the SAT. We'll put this on screen. They go through in order to make sure that someone is not losing their memory, like to Alzheimer's. If you can't identify lion and rhino and camel on this, that would say something pretty stark about what your condition is. They say the words face, velvet, church, daisy, red. And then it says here, read list of words, subject must repeat them. Do 2 trials, do a recall after 5 minutes. And then you see if they can remember the words. And then at the very end, they want you to recall those words again. But there's no multiplication. The only math that would be on this is serial subtraction 7 by 7, starting at 100. So 100, 93, 86, 79, like that. It's not multiply, divide, subtract, add, come to the conclusion of the math problem. So is the problem that he misremembers this and thinks it's like the SAT? Or is it that he knows his audience is so stupid that they will believe anything he says about this? That this proves that he is an intellectual heavyweight. I went to an Ivy League school, blah, blah. That's not what this is. Donald Trump is unwell. He is confused on an almost daily basis in front of the cameras. Normally, I would have sympathy for someone like this, but the damage he has inflicted on the world, on the country certainly, for me, it kind of just removes him from it. My sympathy kind of ends when you're a fascist and you're actually harming people. And over 1 million people are dead because of COVID because you wanted to lie about it for your ego. Nah. Anyway, what do you think about this? I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. Follow me on social media. I'm at Dollemore on Twitter and Instagram, Threads, TikTok, Facebook, all of them. I'd love to see you there. And I'll see you next time. Stick around for a brief word from today's sponsor. If you want to help support this work, you can check out this offer from Sheath. We are once again faced with a pivotal year. And while we don't have control over everything, we as individuals can affect real change. Am I talking about voting? Sure, of course I am. But I'm also obviously talking about underwear. In a world so rich with options, why would we ever settle for second-rate skivvies? My 2024 pick for Department of the Interior is Sheath underwear. Sheath is the only underwear with a dual pouch system scientifically designed to keep your president separated from his cabinet. If you catch my drift. Come on, man. Invented by a U.S. Army veteran while serving a tour in Iraq, the idea from Sheath arose from discomfort in harsh environments. As a former Marine stationed in that part of the world, I get the inspiration. I wear sheaths every day. They're the only boxers that can agreeably accommodate my tree trunk thighs while also keeping my jewels carefully compartmentalized. While I'm not the only person choosing them, Sheath are recommended by multiple doctors and urologists and have over 20,000 five-star reviews. It's time to democratize your drawers. Head to sheathunderwear.com/Dollemore right now and score 20% off right away. I personally am an airflow mesh guy, but Sheath has tons of excellent styles and designs. And once you pick, Sheath will land them on your doorstep near instantly thanks to blindingly fast shipping and amazing customer service. Additionally, your purchase actually does affect positive change. Sheath supports multiple charities like Socks for Soldiers and Doctors Without Borders, so you're making positive choices for the world too. Upgrade your undergarments. Score 20% off right now when you head to sheathunderwear.com/Dollemore. Real change starts with you and your package.